I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the distinguished speakers and participants in today's webinar, which is based on the topic how to reply to an SCN issued by GST Department. Today's webinar is being organized by DGTS Delhi Zonal Unit and Calcutta Zonal Unit. I am Ravindra Joshi, Additional Director, DGTS Delhi Zonal Unit, and I'll be the moderator for today's session. At the outset of the webinar, I would like to invite Shri Amish Kumar Gupta sir, who is an IRS officer of 2002 batch and currently serving as Additional Director General, DGTS Delhi Zonal Unit with additional charge of Calcutta Zonal Unit. Sir has a very dynamic personality and has vast experience of serving in the department in various formations in Delhi NCR and Gujarat zone. Sir has also worked in the board office and has worked in almost all the formations of the department. I would invite sir for his kind words.
Thank you, Ravindra. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
So, warm welcome to all the panelists and delegates in the present webinar, which has been organized. This time, the initiative has been taken by the DGTS Kolkata Zonal Unit. Last time we had a very good webinar with the same resource person, Mr. Tarun Gupta. It was very well received last time, and there was a huge participation. Continuing the same theme, this time again we are taking up another topic in this webinar. First of all, I'll give a warm welcome to Sri M.N. Singh, who is the Chief Commissioner of the Kolkata Customs Zone, and he's kindly agreed to be present in the webinar. Along with that, I also welcome Shri Shravan Kumar. He is the Chief Commissioner Kolkata GST Zone, and he is also warmly agreed to join this webinar. Both of these officers I have been not directly worked with, but have been working in close association with them. And I know both of them are very dynamic personalities, and one of the most experienced officers we have in the department. So we are really lucky to have both of these officers today. And this obviously lifts the status of this webinar. So a warm welcome again to both the senior officers of the department. I'd also like to welcome Shri Arun Agarwal, who's the chairman of Council of GST, Merchant Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This time, they are the trade partners of the webinar we have been organizing this time. He's kindly agreed to be the partner in this. Coming to the topic, this time again, last time the topic was regarding the closing of accounts. So that's to GST, Tarun Gupta gave that webinar also. And continuing with that theme, the next logical thing would be obviously once the accounts are closed and all the things are taken care of, and then let's say audit happens or something or some inquiry comes, what to do further? So in the DGTS KZU, DGTS, as you know, is the premier agency which is in the business of taking up the cudgels of the assessees of the department and how they should respond and how they should handle the departmental investigations as well as departmental inquiries. So this is our job to let them know that how to handle this. And as we all know, that department's intention is never to cause difficulties to the assessee. We always try to wherever possible we try to guide them, and obviously there are some black sheets, they are handled properly, but in general it's our belief that in general assessees are law abiding and they want to be on the right side of the law. So therefore it becomes a duty that we keep hand holding and guiding them that whatever issues come in the department, how to handle it. So this topic, how to reply to a show cause notice issued by the department. This is one of the very important topics. And as you all know, there are a lot of different types of communications come from the department, from the letters, email, queries, then obviously audit are there, FAR is there, DAR is there, and all these things are issued in different sections, and different formats are used for in such inquiries. So how to reply to these? What should be the content of your reply? What should be the do's and don'ts? How succinct the reply should be, how brief it should be, how detailed it should be. Whether we should attach a summary, or whether we should how we should project the case laws in such replies, so that eventually the adjudicating authorities have the benefit of taking the final decision properly. Many times the replies are not. I have myself worked in the field, and I find that these there's a feeling that there are a lot of replies SSC gives, but they're not taken care of by the department. They're not responded to properly. They're not properly handled in the orders. So I would to that argument, I'll say that many times the replies are not drafted properly. They are the real point is not addressed. The issues are not properly brought forth. The case laws are not mentioned. So once those things are mentioned, I rest assured that you'll get fair handling by the department. So I again like to welcome all our attendees in this webinar, and we can now I have to send it back to Ravindra Joshi. Take it forward. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for your words. Now, I am very happy to share that today we have Shri Shravan Kumar Saab, who is an IRS officer of 1991 batch with us and is currently serving as Chief Commissioner of CGST and Central Excise, Calcutta Zone. Sir has a very dynamic personality. Sir has started his career as Assistant Commissioner in Raipur Commissionerate, and thereafter Sir has served in various formations throughout the length and breadth of the country, and including the directorates like Vigilance, DG, then DG, CEI and DRI. I request her to enlighten us with the
I think there's some reception problem from side of Ravindra Joshi. Sir, Shravan sir, you can address now.
are we audible, sir?
श्रवण की आवाज नहीं आ रही है देखो
जी
Shravan sir, you are not audible, sir.
We are checking, sir.
Your mic is muted. So kindly unmute your mic.
Sir, I think there is some issue with the connection at Calcutta office, sir. So,
Sir,
sir, should proceed and connect with sir. Sir?
Yeah, I think we can meanwhile ask Shri M.N. Singh to address.
Sir,
Then by that time probably.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Shri Madan Mohan Singh, sir, who is an IRS officer of 1991 batch again, and sir is currently serving as Chief Commissioner of Customs Calcutta Zone. Sir has a very dynamic personality. Sir has started his career as Assistant Commissioner in Bolpur Commissionerate, and thereafter sir has served on various positions throughout the country in different prestigious formations. I request sir to kindly enlighten us with few words so that we can have the sir's experience.
Thank you, Ravin.
Sir,
That was quite a detailed introduction, and you can say
sir,
that I am West Bengal cadre. So each time I
Sir.
get promoted, I come back to West Bengal. So no, this is
Sir.
very important topic which we have you have started, and this is very timely, I would say. See, as you know, there are 3 sections under which SOCOS notices are issued: 73, 74, and 142. Now, the importance of replying to the SOCOS notices issued by the department cannot be overemphasized. First thing which Amish also told me, first thing is replying appropriately. Your reply should be absolutely relevant, and your endeavor should not be just to thicken your presentation or reply. First thing. Second thing is that whatever court cases that you are quoting in your favor, in your support, should be absolutely relevant and the latest ones. If there is a single member bench order in your favor, you must look for any division bench orders, which might have gone contrary to what the single member bench has ordered. So be very relevant and be latest in choosing your court cases in your support. So that will sort of economize efforts on your part and that of the department. And third thing is that there is something in the GST regime, there is something called pre-consultation, pre-personal hearing consultations. That is very, very important. If in the consultation stage itself issues are resolved and both the party, that is department as well as the SECI, are able to understand and appreciate each other's viewpoint, the issues can be resolved then and then. It will save time for the SSC, for the litigant, and for the department. And believe me, by my experience, I can tell you that it creates a lot of goodwill between the department and that of the SSC. So kindly take care. 73 SOCOS notices, yes, mostly technical in nature. 74 offenses are involved, where some deliberate attempt, purportedly there is some deliberate attempt on the part, and section 142, as you all know. But in replying to the SOCOS notices, only 3 things which I just mentioned, should be kept in mind. This is all from my side, but I hope I am very relevant.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. We'll take your points very, very seriously, and I think Mr. Gupta will elaborate on this further while his presentation.
Yes. And take the
Sir.
consultation stage very seriously. Not sporadic. Your attempt
Yes.
should not be
Sir.
sporadic
Thank you
and
so much.
perfunctory. Take it seriously. My experience tells that 90% of the issues can be resolved at consultation stage. Okay, then carry on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce Shri Arun Kumar Agarwal.
I am there. I'm just unmuting myself and I'm stopping my video, but I'm there.
Consultant in real estate and
Ravinder, now you can continue.
sorry.
You can continue again because beach mein I think there's some there was some issue with your voice. You can wait for a few minutes before he reconnects.
Am I audible to everyone? Sir. Now I would like to introduce Shri Arun Kumar Agarwal, who is a chartered accountant and holds a master degree in law. He possesses more than 2.5 decades of experience in various areas of indirect taxation. Shri Agarwal is a leading consultant in real estate and construction industry, accounting and other applicable laws in Eastern India. Shri Agarwal is a chairman of GST and Indirect Taxation, Council of Members, Council of Merchants, Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kolkata. He regularly represents the industry and trade bodies before the government on various issues on indirect taxation. He is a regular corporate trainer and a visiting faculty on indirect taxation, accounting, auditing for revenue officials, as well as for various universities and institutes. Shri Agarwal has authored many books on taxation as well. I welcome Shri Arun Kumar Agarwal for his kind words.
Thank you so much for your kind words, in fact. And I'm at the outset, I'm thankful to Director General of Taxpayer Services, DGTS, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on, from my side, from trade side, on the issue, the topic that is being discussed, that is how to reply to a show cause notice. As I was hearing the other speakers, my predecessors, Chief Commissioner Mr. Singh, as well as Mr. Savan Kumar as well, probably for some other reason he got disconnected. It is a very pertinent topic being discussed, and more than that, I would rather say that it's a very noble initiative by the DGTS to take this step of creating awareness amongst the trade and industry, and of course professionals as well, including professionals, an attempt to reach out to the trade and industry to make them aware about the viewpoint from the department side on where on responding to show cause notices, etc. From that viewpoint, probably it is more important. In fact, sir, being a chartered accountant, being a tax professional myself, I am aware that in some cases, in many cases, we find that there are certain deficiencies in the show cause notices being issued, but that is more from the state side, because as we know that in the states, under the state VAT, show cause notice concept was not there. So they are not really that matured. So from their side, quite often we find that there are deficiencies in the show cause notice itself. But on the central side, that problem is not there, since age-old, since central excise time and service tax era, this practice is there, this system is there. So that issuance of show cause notice is not a very big challenge. But yes, one point as referred to by Singh sir, Honorable Chief Commissioner, Kolkata Customs, probably, he was saying about the procedure, statutory procedure to be followed very strictly. He was talking about particularly pre-SOCOS consultation, that is DRC 01A to precede the DRC 01. Those issues, those are definitely very important, and to some extent they are new in GST. In the last leg of service tax regime also it was there. It was introduced in a different manner. Now in GST, since everything is procedure based, so that becomes all the more important. And at times we find that maybe if I talk from the revenue viewpoint, that a demand notice is issued, of course, in the interest of the revenue, but sometimes due to lack in the statutory procedure being followed, maybe the notice is dropped, High Court is quashing that notice, so that is also not desirable. So those things definitely to be taken care of. And again, to say a few words about how to reply to SOCOS notices, of course the topic is to be taken up by Mr. Tarun Gupta, my dear friend, but we must take into consideration, the assessees, the taxpayers must take into consideration what are the exact issues involved in the SOCOS notice, what is the pinpoint, what is the deficiency which forms the basis of the SOCOS notice, which he needs to respond to so that the demand is dropped. So instead of attacking on the issue that is involved in the SOCOS notice, instead of defending himself on the viewpoint of SOCOS notice, sometimes we find that a taxpayer may be hitting here and there, not directly on the point. So that's quite often, that definitely is not going to help him, and it is rather becoming a useless exercise probably. So instead, better we focus on the issue exactly being picked up in the SOCOS notice, what exactly is the allegation, and then to counter that allegation, what are the statutory provisions I take care of, I rely upon to defend myself. What are the statutory provisions means, of course, including the act and the rules. Then notifications, again, those become part of the statute. Then, of course, circulars, that is, if there is any circular clarification, either in my favor or against me as a taxpayer. So both need to be considered. If there is a clarification which is apparently against me, so I need to definitely defend myself as to how I distinguish my case from that clarification, why I should not be hit by that clarification, etc. And judicial precedence is, of course, all the more important rather in GST regime, because in GST, since the jurisprudence is to be written now, it has just been started. So judicial precedents in GST particularly are all the more important, particularly since we are in GST era. So we as taxpayers have to take care of or keep regularly themselves updated about the statutory judicial precedents, what are the various views or ratios laid down by various high courts or even Supreme Court in some cases, as we are aware in some specific cases. I'm not going into those cases specifically. So considering these aspects, this subject is definitely a very, very relevant subject, very important subject on which deliberations are required. Awareness is required to be created from the viewpoint of revenue, of course, because revenue should not be compromised just because the exercise is not properly done, and at the same time unnecessary burden also should not be posed on the taxpayers. So the taxpayers, if are made aware about how exactly they require them to respond to the SOCOS notices, that will actually help the revenue department in resolving the issues. And if there is at all any demand which needs to be dropped, that can be dropped then and there, instead of traveling to the upper forums, that is maybe tribunal or high court or Supreme Court. So from those viewpoints, it's definitely very, very important, and I wish DGTS very a grand success in this exercise, in their endeavor in this series of webinars to create awareness, to create an environment of confidence amongst the taxpayers. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Sorry, sir. Thank you, Shri Arun, for your views. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite Shri Shravan Kumar sir, who is an IRS officer of 1991 batch and is currently serving as Chief Commissioner of CGST and Central Excise Kolkata Zone. Sir has a very vivid and dynamic personality. Sir has started his career as a Assistant Commissioner in Raipur Commissionerate, and thereafter Sir has served in various formations throughout the length and breadth of the country, and including the very important directorates of the department like Vigilance, DG, CAI, BRI, and presently Sir is in Calcutta. I would request Sir to kindly enlighten us with his with few words and share his experience. Sir.
Thank you, Ravindra Joshi. I'm extremely sorry that no, my system did not work in the beginning. I came back to my office after 2.5 weeks of leave. So it appears that my system also went on leave and somehow we could get back to the work. So there are several distinguished panelists and the guests here. My colleague Madan Mohan Singh, Mr. Amish Gupta, Speaker of the day, Mr. Tarun Gupta is also there, and Mr. Arun Agrawal, and all other senior officers and participants. I'm happy to be part of this, today's this webinar. And this initiative of DGTS is a welcome initiative. Such initiatives, such webinars, and such sharing of knowledge and information are really helpful in the whole process of tax administration. As we know that in the tax system, there are three basic fundamental processes. A taxpayer is required to take registration, assess his liabilities and pay tax, and file returns. In an ideal situation, these three processes would have sufficed and nothing more was required. But we all know that it's not an ideal world. There are situations, there are interpretations, there are issues where tax administration and the taxpayer are not at the same page. So in such situations, department issues show cause notices, and those show cause notices are required to be replied. So today's topic, reply to the show cause notice, is an extremely important subject. It's very relevant, and it is very useful for a common taxpayer, because reply to the show cause notice is first instance where the allegations made in the show cause notice are to be countered. I have gone in a hurried manner through the presentation of the day, and I find that the presentation covers three main fundamental aspects of any reply to the show cause notice. First is related to the facts of the matter. So that is extremely important, because facts must be put in a straight manner. Sometimes if the show cause notice does not contain all the facts, or it mentions selective facts, then the reply to the show cause notice must bring out all facts in a proper way, so that the tax administration or the person who is going to adjudicate the show cause notice, he gets to know the complete facts. And the second aspect is relating to the legal position. That is also very well covered in today's presentation. And the third part is that what are the case laws on the subject, that wherever there were differing interpretations by the tax administration and the taxpayers, what are the decisions of the court relevant to a particular subject where the law has been laid down by the High Court or Supreme Court. So all these three aspects are very well covered in today's webinar. And I hope that this webinar will be really useful and people will take advantage of the same. I wish today's webinar a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words, and we look forward to have you in more webinars if sir gives us permission, sir.
Certainly, I'll be looking forward to.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Now for the presentation, I would like to introduce Shri Tarun Kumar Gupta, who is a chartered accountant, company secretary, and MBA with a major in business management. He has about 23 years of professional experience in the field of finance, financial management, and taxation. He is a master trainer of GST with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and guest faculty at Institute of Company Secretaries of India. And further, he is also a trainer at West Bengal National University of Judicial Science, Juridical Sciences, sorry, Calcutta, a premier law university in the country, and National Academy of Customs and Indirect Taxes and Narcotics, Calcutta, a central training institute of CGST officers. Welcome, Shri Tarun Kumar Gupta ji again. Kindly, I hand over you for the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank DGTS for giving me yet another opportunity to present my views on this very important topic on how to reply to a show cause notice issued by the GST department. My sincere thanks to Sri Shravan Kumar ji, Chief Commissioner of CGST, Kolkata Zone, Sri Madan Mohan sir, Chief Commissioner of Customs, Kolkata Zone, Sri Amish Kumar Gupta ji, Additional Director General DGTS, Sri Arun Agarwal ji, Chairman of the GST Council at Merchant Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Ravinder Joshi sir, and all the participants who have joined today to hear about how to reply to a show cause notice in today's scenario. So, sir, I have made one presentation. I will just share the presentation for the benefit of the participants. Just a second. Yeah. Yes. Sir, is the screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So I'll start with a disclaimer that this entire presentation is made by me, and it is made in a way that we can all understand the law in simple terms, but one should please refer to the respective acts and the rules for any specific legal opinion. So in today's presentation, what we will discuss is what are the different types of communications we receive from the department, the characteristics of a notice, how as a taxpayer we should reply, because I'm sharing my experience mainly from a taxpayer's view, because we have been working with various clients over these years, and I'll try to bring in the important points that are required to be there as a part of the reply to the show cause notice, which basically helps in adjudication of the entire case. The practical points which we should see in replying to a notice, and then we will try to keep some 15-20 minutes at the end for the question and answers. So like the respected speakers said in the beginning, let me just throw some light on how we should reply to a show cause notice. So now, as a taxpayer, whenever we receive any communication from the department, the first reaction that we have is, oh, something has come from the department, now what we have to do. So we are always very fearful of the communication from the department. But I would like to say that all these communications that are coming from the department have their own value and validity as per the Act. Now let us see what are the different types of communications that we receive as a taxpayer from the department. So it can be in the form of a letter. It is just seeking some information by the jurisdictional range office on maybe some difference between what we have paid and what we have filed in 3B and 1. It can also be a system generated email, because nowadays we all are working on the GSTN portal, and the GSTN portal itself is having some modules where it captures the differences that we are on the returns that we are filing, and auto generated emails are coming. So it can be a system generated email. It can be an audit query. So if we are facing an audit by the department, the audit team can send us a query. it can be a report. So please mind these words that are highlighted and underlined in this slide. It is a letter, a system generated email, audit query, it can be a report. So it can be a report in the form of a draft audit report or a final audit report. It can be an intimation. The Act also uses the word intimation because DRC, say, for example, DRC 01A, which is the pre-show cause intimation. Then we come to a notice, which is what we will discuss today in greater detail. So a notice is a formal demand. Please understand that till now, a letter, email, query, report, intimation, all these things were in the form of a discussion or a communication between the taxpayer and the department. But a formal demand for the tax, interest, penalty, late fees, whatever, comes as a part of a notice. So this is what we will discuss in greater detail today. And then after the notice is adjudicated, we have the order, which is the final crystallized demand, and it is appealable in nature. So as per the GST Act, what are the types of notices that we can receive as a taxpayer? So it can be under section 25, which is seeking further details for new registration. It can be under section 29, which is cancellation or suspension of registration. Section 46, it can be a notice to defaulters of the return GSTR 3B. Under section 54, which can be related to the refund, where a show cause notice is issued of why the refund should not be rejected and it calls for some information or details. Section 61, which is a part of the scrutiny assessment. Section 63, assessment of unregistered persons. So a person who is unregistered under the GST Act, he will receive a notice under section 63. Section 68, which is for inspection of goods in movement. So cases of e-way bill are captured in section 68. Then we generally receive notices under section 73 and 74, which is the demand for tax, interest and penalty. So 73 is without any intention to evade tax, and section 74 is with an intention to evade tax. Section 76, which is tax collected but not paid to the government. So these are the different types of notices that we can receive in the various sections of the GST Act. Now let us understand what is the characteristic of a notice. If we see a show cause notice very finely, then these are the points that a notice should have. And if any of these points are not there, then the taxpayer can mention that this is a lacuna in the show cause notice, because there are various case laws which go in favor of the assessee and also in favor of the department, wherein any important characteristics that is required, if it is not there, then it can be taken up. So the first is that it has to be issued under a proper section. Like we saw in the previous slide, that each and every section gives a power to the proper officer to issue a notice. So the proper officer has to mention the section, that under which section he is issuing the notice. So it can be under section 61, 73, 74 or similarly. Then the notice is issued in a specific format. So we have seen that the GST Act rules and the forms, all these are clearly defined in the law. So if it is a notice under section 61 scrutiny assessment, then ASMT 10 is issued. If it is a notice under section 73 or 74, then DRC 01 is issued. So a specific format has to be used by the proper officer in issuing the notice. Then the notice has to have a DIN. In West Bengal, we have both CGST and WBGST officers using DIN. So a DIN is necessary. Generally, the notice has to be issued on the GST portal. Now, the experience that we are seeing is that the state GST is using the GST portal for issuing notices and all, but the central GST is many a times doing both offline and online. A recent circular was also issued by CBIC to the officers of CGST that they should use the GST portal for all uploadings of notices and all. But we are still seeing that many officers of CGST are still using offline modes of communication. Maybe as a trade feedback or as a professional's feedback, if this can be taken up by DGTS officers and communicated, then this communication may go to the CGST officers that the use of the portal should be done. But this is generally what we have seen as an experience. Then if the notice is referring to some documents that the notice is relying upon, those have to be attached with the notice, and these are generally attached, and these are called RUDs, relied upon documents. So many a times we see that it may have got missed or the RUD is mentioned, but if it is not attached, so the taxpayer can write a letter to the proper officer and request for a copy of the RUD if it is not attached. Then the notice will be served to the taxpayer. So it can either be sent through speed post or registered post, or it will be uploaded on the GST portal. So these all are proper service to the taxpayer. So it has to be served to the taxpayer, and the date to respond will start from the date of receipt of the show cause notice by the taxpayer. The notice will also have a specific timeline for reply. So generally a show cause notice has 30 days to reply under section 73 or 74, but whatever the notice will itself mention that how much time is being given to the taxpayer to make a reply. Then before adjudication, the proper officer will provide an opportunity of hearing to the taxpayer. So someone is writing can't hear. Hello, am I?
Yes,
I
sir,
hope
you're audible, sir. You're audible, sir. Because of the mic का दिक्कत हो गई.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, because someone is writing, I can't hear. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the notice will provide for an opportunity for hearing. So it will clearly mention that when is the date of hearing and in which maybe office, in which room, so that specific address and time will be provided in the notice itself, or maybe after the reply is submitted, a separate communication will come for the personal hearing. Then once the hearing is completed, the notice will be adjudicated by the proper officer, followed by an order. So these are the characteristics of the notice. Now, as per the GST Act, the notice under section 73 has to be issued within 2 years, 9 months from the date of filing of the annual return, and the order under section 73 will have to be issued within 3 years. Similarly, under section 74, the notice has to be issued within 4 years, 6 months, and the order has to be issued within 5 years. So this is a chart that I have prepared, which basically gives all the specific dates since 2017-18 till 22-23. Now we can see that 31st May 2024 is the last date for issue of show cause notice for the financial year 2019-20, under section 73. So for 2017-18, 18-19, no show cause notice can now be issued under 18-20. The last date is 31st May. So we are almost like 4 days prior to the last date. Then 2021, the last date is 30th of November, and similarly for 21, 22, 22, 23, it is 30th September 25 and 30th September 26. The last date for issue of show cause notice under section 74 is still there. So 17-18, the last date is August 2024. So it is approaching maybe after 3-4 months. So this is the overall table which shows the timelines for the issue of show cause notice and the issue of orders. So now, as a taxpayer, what is my duty when I am making a reply to a show cause notice? So like the senior officers of CBIC just mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, that there are certain principles that one should adhere to while making a reply. Now, as a taxpayer, it is my duty to help the tax officer in understanding what is my case and whether the facts that are mentioned in the show cause notice are complete or not, and if I am admitting a demand or I am disputing a demand, and what are the documents that I want to rely on. So let us go point by point. So say, for example, a show cause notice comes which has maybe 10 points. Now, for each of the 10 points, it is my duty to reply point by point. Let us understand that we have to make the officer, proper officer, understand what is my submission. And for each of these 10 points, I have to mention that whether I am admitting the demand or whether I am disputing the demand. Let us not start the show cause, the reply to the show cause notice by a way that I want to dispute all the demand. No, it is not that all the demands can be disputed, because there are certain points on which there is a genuine demand. So point by point, please admit a demand or dispute a demand. Make pair-wise reply. Then for whatever submissions that as a taxpayer we are doing to the points mentioned in the show cause notice, please attach supporting documents, because just by saying that the demand is not applicable to me, or just by saying that this is my submission, it will not help the taxpayer, because it has to be corroborated with evidence. The evidence is very important through supporting documents. Now it can be, supporting documents can be third party documents, it can be certificates or statements which are signed by a chartered accountant, it can be in the form of an affidavit, it can be in the form of my tax invoice, my goods receipt note, it can be my bank statement, my ledger copy. So whatever document the taxpayer has should be properly attached with each and every point that he is making as a part of the reply. Then it may so happen that prior to the issue of the show cause notice, there was some communication that was there between the taxpayer and the proper officer, which may not have got recorded in the show cause notice. So you should also, as a taxpayer, mention that these are the points that were raised prior to the issue of the show cause notice, and these replies I have already submitted to the department, but the proper officer has not taken them into cognizance while drawing up the show cause notice. So these submissions made prior are not on record. So that also should be given as a part of my reply to the show cause notice. And if I have made any other submission to the any other department which is a corroborative evidence, like the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, income tax and all, like my income tax return, tax audit copies, my master data, so all these can be attached as a part of my show cause reply to the show cause notice. Now, when we are doing our reply to the show cause notice, please understand that we don't have to make it very bulky, because the proper officer has to go through each and every point. And nowadays we all are uploading these notices on the portal, and we are aware that reading anything from soft copy is also sometimes difficult if it is very bulky, because cross referencing, page numbering, if it is not done in a proper manner, then one can get lost in the entire document. So my humble submission as a professional is that please make a proper page numbering of the reply, make an index at the beginning of the page numbers for easy referencing. So if your reply is say page 1 to 50, annexure 1, annexure 2, annexure 3, annexure 4, annexure 5, give referencing, give page numbering in a proper manner. Then highlight the points you want to refer to in bold, so that the proper officer's attention is attracted to that important point. When you are referring to the cases, please mention the exact para. Don't just say that in the case of X versus Y, this is the citation, this was held, and so this relief should be given to you. You should not do it in such a casual manner. Please understand that you have to refer to that case, refer to the exact para in which the Honorable Court has given that judgment, and that para should be quoted in the reply, so that the proper officer can go through that case law also and understand that in what context the the judgment was given and whether that context is applicable to you or not. So that is very important. And like sir had said in the beginning, that please give latest case laws. Also check whether any single bench order has been overruled by a double bench order, so the double bench order will prevail. So all these homework has to be done very finely by the taxpayer when he is referring to the case laws. Please do annexure numbering, please submit online, and many a times we receive requests from the officers that hard copy may be submitted. So if there is a specific request from a proper officer, please submit the hard copy also. Many a times the Excel files are to be provided because the portal does not allow uploading of Excel files. It allows only uploading of PDF and JPG files. So say for example, we are doing a reconciliation of 3B and 2A, or my purchase ledger and 2A, which has to be done in Excel. So the proper officer may ask for the Excel file. So that can be provided to the official email ID of the officer. So if that is asked, please do that. That is my humble request to the taxpayer. And as I said, please do not overburden the reply, but at the same time, do not leave out any important point, because you see, a show cause notice is the opportunity which is there to the taxpayer to bring everything on record. If any point is missed out or left out at the reply stage, then putting that point in further stages may sometimes become difficult, because one has to explain that why this point was not taken up during the show cause adjudication stage. So do not overburden the reply, but please do not leave out any important fact. Then practical points while replying to a notice. So there are sometimes, many times we see, say, let me take one example, that say for example, the taxpayer has received a notice or a letter in the form of a communication from the department, which says that there are certain differences between the returns that he has filed in maybe 3B, 2A, GSTR 1, and such points. RCM has not been paid. Now, ideally, all those points are coming as a part of scrutiny. So the officer has to necessarily issue an ASMT 10 under section 61 and seeking clarification on these points. But many times we have seen that such ASMT 10 is not issued by the officer, or it is not uploaded on the site. So as a taxpayer, we many times take legal points wherein we say that ASMT 10 should have been issued, or maybe the show cause notice should have been issued under a particular section, or the show cause notice does not have these legal points. So we can make our legal points and reply to the show cause notice. But my humble submission is that having said all the legal points, or having taken all the legal points, the reply to the facts should also be provided. So if, say, in that case where ASMT 10 has not been issued and there is a difference between my outward supply of as per GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, so the taxpayer can take a point that as per section 61, ASMT 10 was supposed to be issued, but it has not been issued. But having said that, I will also want to reply on the facts. The fact is that my turnover as per 3B is this, my turnover as per 1 is this, and this is the reason for the difference. So take your legal points, but also reply on the facts. That is point number 1. Second is that there is a concept called assuming but not accepting when we make a reply. So if you assume that the point that has been taken up by the proper officer in the notice is correct, so but you don't accept that, but you make a reply to that assuming but not accepting that this point is correct, this is my reply. So it means that again you are making the point on reply on the facts. So your point is taken on record in the reply. Then third is that courts have allowed that alternate pleas can be taken up in replies. So you can take different views on a particular point that, according to me, this point is not applicable, or this demand is not applicable on me because of reason 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can take multiple reasons and say that why this demand is not acceptable to you, or why the amount is not acceptable to you, or why the demand should be reduced. So, but you can take alternate please, but please reply on the facts. The fourth is that please submit all facts of the case in a neat manner. And you see, in the beginning, sir had said that there are two main issues in any show cause notice. One is the fact, the points taken on fact, and second is the points taken which are the legal points. My humble submission is that at the show cause notice, please ensure that all the facts are taken on record, because many a times the proper officer may have limited power to give you relief on points of law. So say for example, if there is a show cause notice on section 16(4), wherein one has filed a reply late after September or November of the next year. Now we are aware that this point is sub judice and the matter is pending before the Honorable Supreme Court. Now that is a legal point. So the proper officer may not be in a position to give relief under this point till the matter is settled by the Honorable Supreme Court. Hence, expecting a relief at the show cause notice level on this point may be unreasonable by the taxpayer. So this is what I am saying as a point of law. But something which is a point of fact, which is maybe a credit note that has been auto-populated in 2A, and whether the assessee has reversed it under in his 3B or not. So that is a point of fact. So all those points of facts can be properly taken up as a reply to the show cause notice, and one can expect that if the officer is convinced that yes, the reversal has been done, one can expect a relief. That is the difference one should understand between a point of fact and a point of law. Then another point that we should ensure is that the list of dates. So we have to give chronologically what is the event and how it has flowed. So when was the transaction done, when was the material received, when was the payment done, all these things. So the list of dates of the transaction should be clearly mentioned. And as I said, please provide all supporting or documents to your submissions. Attach details in the annexure. So annexures, so don't make the reply bulky, but you can attach details in the annexure. Do para numbering as it makes referencing very easy. Reply to each and every allegation in the notice, including interest and penalty. So as was mentioned earlier, that please make your reply point by point. So each and every allegation that is mentioned in the reply, in the notice, has to be replied. Otherwise, you may not be able to take that point later if you have not made the reply in the notice. So any point that you also want to make for non-payment of interest or penalty should also be taken. Do not overburden the reply with too many case laws. Stick to very important and leading judgments. So don't say that, I have got 10 case laws in my favor, or I've got 20 case laws in my favor, and attach all of them and make it bulky. No, that should not be the way a reply should be drafted. Please stick only to the very important leading judgment. And like sir had said in the beginning, please do your research that which case law is actually applicable in your case, whether it has been overruled by a senior bench or by a larger bench. So please do your analysis and then only rely on a case law. And finally, at the end, please summarize your submission so that at the end, the officer is very clear that what is it that you are trying to say, and whether you are admitting the demand or whether you are disputing it. Now, it may so happen that once you have made the reply to the show cause notice and you have uploaded the same on the portal, you feel that something has been left out. So what do you do in that case? So the answer to that is don't worry, you have a chance. Now, the portal itself allows you to add a reply. So even for DRC 01A, which is the pre-show cause, or for the show cause notice, you can add a reply. So you have uploaded one reply, then you can add another, say, document by clicking on add reply option on the portal. So you can submit the document through that. If that is also missed out, then once you go for personal hearing At that time, you can request the officer that, sir, I had uploaded the reply, but maybe for this reason, this point could not be mentioned. So I have a supplementary submission. So during personal hearing also, a document can be submitted to the proper officer. Even after that, say you have not used that opportunity also, then even after that, post the personal hearing, you can write a letter to the proper officer saying that even in personal hearing this point was missed and I want to make a further submission to the authority. And if it is a document or if it is a new fact, you can further seek an opportunity of hearing from the proper officer. So at all these points, you can add to your reply if something has been left out, but please ensure that whatever documents you are submitting should reach the proper officer before he passes the order. So once the order is passed, then the ball moves out of his court and you may have to go to the next stage for filing an appeal. But before the order is passed by the proper officer, you can do your submissions if anything is left out. Now let us come to the stage of personal hearing, that the reply has been submitted, but the reply has been submitted and now you have been given a chance for personal hearing. So my humble submission during personal hearing is that please carry a hard copy of the reply so that you can refer to what is your submission that you have done. Please carry an authorization letter so that the officer can recognize your presence and make you sign the attendance sheet. Tag the pages that you want to refer to, make your short notes so that in the limited time of 10 to 15 minutes that you get during your personal hearing, you are able to refer to the important points. You can also make a note to the personal hearing which has all the major points you want to rely on or stress on, and submit it as a document to the proper officer saying that this is a note that one has prepared for personal hearing. If you want to carry any additional document or a fact you want to submit, please carry that also during the personal hearing, and submit any change in position. So say for example, any new or further document has come to your notice or any new communication has come to your notice. So say for example, there is a difference in 3B and 2A, and now under circular number 183 or 193, you are seeking a certificate from the supplier that he has by mistake not filed the GSTR 1. So if that say circular comes after you have submitted the reply to the show cause notice but before personal hearing, so you can submit a copy of that certificate from the supplier during the hearing and say that this is a new document that I have come across after the submission of the reply, and so that should be taken on record. Submit case laws you want to rely on during personal hearing. So if you have left out relying on any case law during submission to the show cause notice, you can do it during the stage of personal hearing. So you can make a short note on the case laws you want to rely on, the paragraphs, and attach the copy of the case law. Make submissions on the cases relied upon in the notice by the department. So it may so happen that the department has also relied upon some case laws. So it is your duty to ensure that you distinguish the same and say that why that case law is not relevant in your case. So that note to distinguish should also be provided during personal hearing. And please carry the files with documents you want to rely on during the hearing. Post hearing. Now once the reply has been submitted, the hearing has been done. So what are the duties of the taxpayer post hearing? So post hearing, please cooperate with the adjudication cell by giving soft copies of any reply or any document like Excel file and all which is there, so that they can do the checking of the reply that has been done by the taxpayer. That is number one. Any further document or explanation is sought, so please cooperate and provide that so that the matter can be adjudicated correctly. Excel sheets, as I said, that can be provided to the officer to check and reconcile the data. And if there is any further point that you feel that needs to be explained, so you can seek another time or a hearing with the proper officer and say that I want to take another opportunity to explain the data and the reconciliation so that adjudication will be done in the correct manner. Now, these are some important case laws which I thought I should share with the taxpayers. So, can adjudication proceeding and criminal prosecution be launched simultaneously? So, it has been held, yes, that adjudication and criminal prosecution can be launched simultaneously. In the case Radhesham Kejriwal versus State of West Bengal, it's a Supreme Court judgment. Can arrest be made even when adjudication is not complete? The answer is yes, because this was held in a case PV Ramana Reddy versus Union of India in 2019. Can demand for recovery be initiated before completion of adjudication? So here it has been held no, because when the proceedings are already going on during adjudication, so no further demand for recovery can be initiated. This was held in a matter in the Gujarat High Court. Can adjudication be done without considering the reply to show cause notice? It has been held no, because adjudication cannot be done unless the reply has been considered, and further proper hearing has been conducted wherein the proper officer has given a chance to the assessee for a proper hearing. So no adjudication can be done without considering the reply to the show cause notice or undertaking proper hearing. Can the department issue show cause notice invoking extended period when the assessee had not made any willful misstatement or separation of fact? It has been held no in Canon India case, that unless there is any willful misstatement or separation of fact, the department cannot issue a show cause notice invoking the extended period. In GST, we have not reached that stage, because for 17, 18, 18, 19, the time barring under 73 has happened, but time barring under 74 has not happened. So we will have to see that how the courts take cognizance of this point in case the department is issuing any notice under 74, which should have been issued under 73. So these points are yet to be tested in a court of law. Can a notice be declared void by the Honorable Court when alternate remedy was available? It has been held yes, that in the Indian cardboard industry case, in Calcutta High Court, Honorable Calcutta High Court, it has been held that a notice can be declared void by the Honorable Court when alternate remedy was available. So these are some of the points in which the matter had been taken up, in which it was the case was ordered. Is it mandatory to issue DRC 01, which is the intimation before issue of show cause notice under 73 or 74? It has been held no, because taxpayers will note that the issue of DRC 01A, which is the intimation or the pre-show cause, was mandatory in the initial years of GST, but now it has been made optional. So it is not mandatory for the department to issue a pre-show cause notice. Is issuance of a notice in a particular format mandatory requirement of law? It has been held yes. We have discussed this point, that the GST has mentioned specific formats for the issue of notice, and it is incumbent on the proper officer to issue the notice in that particular format only. So this was held in the metal forging case in the Honorable Supreme Court. Can a demand be made without providing an opportunity of being heard? It has been held no. We discussed this point, that the proper officer is under obligation to provide an opportunity of hearing to the taxpayer, and up to 3 adjournments can be taken by the taxpayer while responding to a proper personal hearing. After that, only the proper officer can issue the order. Can demand in DRC 01, which is the show cause notice, exceed the amount initiated in DRC 01A, which is the pre-show cause? So it was held no, that a show cause notice, the amount in the show cause notice cannot exceed the amount which was intimated in the pre-show cause notice. This was in Allahabad High Court matter, Skyline Automation Industries versus State of UP. Can notice be struck down when statutory procedure prescribed for communicating the same under Rule 142(1) were not followed. Held yes. So here also we discussed that the GST law has made a specific procedure for communication of the notice, which is like uploading of the same on the portal or having a good service through speed post or registered post. So that has to be completed unless the notice is communicated to the assessee or to the taxpayer. It cannot be expected that he will make a reply. So proper service is compulsory for a notice, and this was held in a Madhya Pradesh High Court matter. Can one just pay tax and not interest or penalty to take benefit of reduced penalty? It was held no. That if one wants to seek the benefit of reduced penalty, then he has to pay the tax along with interest. So this was held in a matter in Kerala High Court. Can coercive action be taken if tax has been paid even if under protest? It has been held no in a Madhya Pradesh High Court matter that if tax has been paid, coercive action cannot be taken. Will the interpretation under existing law also be available under GST? It was held yes, that when we are doing interpretation of the legal provisions under GST, then one can go through the earlier case laws in VAT, central excise or service tax and rely on those interpretations also. This was held in a matter in Madras High Court. And in case two interpretations are available, can the one which is more favorable to the taxpayer be resorted to? It was held yes, that in case two interpretations are, if they are available, then the taxpayer can resort to the one that is favorable to him. This was a matter that was decided in the Honorable Supreme Court. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. I think I am well within the allotted time that I had. I was told to complete the presentation by 4:15. It is 4:12. So thank you so much for giving me a patient hearing. And now with the consent of sir, I think we can take up the question answer session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shri Gupta, for such an exhaustive and lucid presentation. I'm sure that all of us has been benefited by it. Now I invite the participant for questions, if any. Kindly ensure that questions asked should be relevant to our today's topic. Further, the questions can be asked using the chat box. Any questions, please?
So there were some questions, sir. Let me see the chat box. Just a second, sir. I can maybe. How do I see? Chat box, yeah. So I'll take the questions. There are some questions in the chat box. Yeah, just a second. I'm starting from the beginning. Yeah, someone says, dear sir, we close the notice against section 73-74, but officer issued the notice again under 61. Please clarify. You see, the procedure that is mentioned in the act is that first the ASMT 10 has to be issued under section 61, and generally then we have seen that the proper officer will issue the pre-show cause, which is DRC 01A, and then DRC 01, which is the notice under section 73 is issued. But let me clarify that if there are any other points which are missed out in a particular proceeding or for any other financial year, the proper officer can issue a notice under 61 and start fresh proceedings which has not been taken up. So we will have to see specifically which is what is the point that was already taken up and which is the new one being taken up under 61. But there is no specific bar on the officer not to start any other proceeding. It's related to 26 AS. So it can be, because if say the person who's asking the query says that this point is related to 26 AS, which is the income tax data from the portal on TDS deducted. So if this point was not taken up in section 73, 74 notice earlier, then the officer is empowered to take it. Maybe if it is not time barred, he can take it up again. Then there is a question, RUD. Yeah, I don't know what is the question, but yes. Someone is asking, can the PH date be given before the due date of filing reply to show cause notice? Yes, this is one issue that we have also faced as a professional, that nowadays what is happening is, say, if let us assume the date of issue of the show cause notice is the 1st of May 2024, and I get say 30 days to file my reply, which is, so say I can file my reply say up to 31st of May 2024. But in the notice I have seen that the date of hearing is given before the date of the due date of submission of the personal of 31st May. So it may so happen that the hearing date is given as 27th or 28th of May. This is something that we have seen as a professional. I have seen in some cases that I am handling. So my humble submission or reply to this point is that if the reply can be uploaded prior to the date of hearing, then one should upload the reply maybe say by 24th or 25th, and then he can appear on 27th or 28th. Or else he can also seek a deferment of the date of hearing by saying that I will submit my reply by say 30th or 31st, and post that I would like to appear for the hearing, so please give me another date post say 31st. That can also be a strategy that one can adopt. The third strategy that can also be adopted is that if a draft reply has been prepared, then the taxpayer can appear on the date of hearing and submit that reply on the hearing date itself, and then maybe later on upload it. So it all depends on what is the fact of the matter and how prepared the taxpayer is to give a reply to the show cause notice. Personal hearing date is given before issuing. So yeah, this I have replied. What is the format of show cause notice as DRC 01 is only the summary? Yes. So we have seen that DRC 01 is only the summary of the notice, and along with that the proper officers, they upload a copy of the detailed calculations. So that is made a part of the DRC 01. Sir, where to reply in portal of DRC 01? So on the portal, once the DRC 01 or the show cause notice is uploaded, you can make a reply. So there is a option, there is a functionality on the portal where you can make a reply to DRC 01. That is not an issue. You can submit reply in the reply section. Okay. Can the PH date be okay? This I've replied. Then someone is asking, GST registration is cancelled of our vendor, but vendor has filed GST 1 and 3B. What supporting can be provided, as we are asked by the GST audit team of Kolkata State to make payment towards ITC taken against these invoices? I think this is a very specific query. We will have to see the matter. But generally, GST, if a person's registration is cancelled, one can file the pending returns, pay the taxes within the due date, and revocation can be applied. So that is generally not the issue. But in this case, it's a specific matter. We will have to see the matter. What is coercive action? So coercive action means any action taken by the proper officer to arrest, to attach any property, to attach any bank account. So this is what is legally called a coercive action. query on DRC 01A. How to ensure that reply to DRC 01A has been accepted by the assessing officer? No. So you see, this is a process that happens. So if the proper officer is issuing a DRC 01A, which is the pre-show cause notice, and you are making a reply to the pre-show cause notice, so any point that the proper officer has accepted obviously will get dropped. It will be recorded in the DRC 01 notice, and any other, all the other points which the proper officer has not accepted will travel to the show cause notice. So this is a very simple way. And in case all the points of DRC 01A have been paid by the assessee and it has been accepted, so after that there is no show cause that is issued, because that is the pre-show cause and that is the end of the matter. So no other order will be issued or notice will be issued. Whether the officer will issue any kind of no. So no. So if in case pre-show cause, so say for example, there is a demand of 100 rupees in pre-show cause notice, and the taxpayer pays the demand of 100 rupees with tax and any late fees or whatever. So then no notice will be issued and the matter will be dropped at that stage only. Can notice be issued by central and state officers? So on some provisions there is concurrent power to both the state and central officers, so they can issue the notices. But generally, for majority of the provisions of the Act, the proper officer has been entrusted with the responsibility to issue the notice. Is there a notice without DIN? Is it valid? So I would say that if there is any notice without DIN, then it is not valid, because both under CBIC and also under West Bengal, the state, at least I am speaking only for West Bengal. So West Bengal also has ensured that all notices and communications have a DIN. So and CBIC also has issued various circulars that all documents have to have DIN. So if it is a central government communication or a notice without a DIN, then it is not valid. Is it possible to appear for personal hearing through video conferencing? Yes, that option is available to the taxpayer. Officer has issued show cause notice and the order on the same day. Does it? No, if the show cause notice and the order, so someone is asking, the officer has issued show cause notice and the order on the same day. Is it acceptable? The answer is no, it is not at all acceptable, because after a show cause notice is issued, the proper officer has to give time to the taxpayer to make a reply within 30 days generally, and then a hearing is scheduled, a hearing has to be done, and only after that the order can be passed. So if it is done in that way, so then I think it is a violation of the GST Act. Section show cause notice under 74 for willful misstatement issued. How to defend that there hasn't been any willful. So someone is asking that as a notice has been issued under section 74 for willful misstatement, so how one should defend. So you see, we have discussed this point in the presentation, that you will have to state all the facts in a manner that there has been no willful misstatement, or maybe you had relied on certain circular, or maybe this is the interpretation that you had done, and that there was no willful misstatement on your part. So you will have to bring all those facts on record. Someone is asking, few GST authorities do not give opportunity of personal hearing. Whether GST portal shall have a provision of PH record. So you see, generally I have seen that all proper officers give an opportunity for hearing. So I don't know why this is being mentioned. But the portal has, so if the officer wants, he can use the portal for giving the date, for giving any adjournment, so that record can be mentioned or recorded on the portal itself. Then someone is asking how to go about summons in GST after the appearance and submission of document. Can we pay tax and interest under dispute and file appeal to reduce penalty? Yes, that can be done. One can pay the tax and the interest and under protest, and then file the appeal to reduce the penalty. That option is available. That can be done. Someone is saying ITC available in GSTR 2A is more than ITC reflected in comparison statement. How to reply? Officer has issued notice as per comparison sheet filed reply with invoice as per. So you see, you will have to make a full reconciliation between the ITC that has been availed in 3B and what is available in GSTR 2A. So that comparison or the reconciliation sheet can be prepared and submitted to the proper officer. Then, sir, someone is saying, sir, I had asked for personal hearing through video conferencing, but the officer has not acknowledged such a query and has issued a show cause notice, so sometimes an order. What is the remedy? So you see, in all, especially in central GST notices which I have seen for, or communications which I have seen for personal hearing, so there is an option that is provided for video conferencing. I don't know why in your case it was not allowed, but generally I have seen that central GST officers allow an option for video conferencing. So sir, I think I've answered all the queries majorly which are there in the portal, in the comment box. Yeah, last question, I think. Yeah, some more questions are coming. Sir, how much time do I have to reply to these questions?
You can please go ahead with 2, 3 more questions.
Okay. So, yeah. So someone is saying e-way bill mandatory along with vehicle only. E-way bill is enough. Sorry, I could not get. Someone is, yeah. Let's take some other question. Notice under 74 can be issued without proofing to be intention of evading tax. No, so you see, one common question that is I am seeing is that whether any proof has to be attached for any notice to be issued under 74. So you see, for the benefit of the taxpayers, let me explain that the proper officer will make his own assessment, and based on the data that is available on record, he will make an assessment, and based on his judgment, he will say whether there was an intention to evade tax or not, and then suitably he will issue a notice under 73 or 74. Now you see, it is the taxpayer's duty to put it on record as a reply to the show cause notice that what was already there in his return, what was already there on the portal, and why there is no separation of any information, and why there was no misstatement, or why there was no intention to defraud or not to pay, evade any tax. So all these things have to come out as a reply of the taxpayer. So and then only it can be adjudicated whether that point will fall under 73 or 74. Yeah. Can IGST wrongly paid interest or CGST, SGST be set off against, however, GST1? No, so there is a problem if IGST has been wrongly paid instead of CGST and SGST. So the law is very clear that the one has to seek refund of the wrongly paid tax, and he has to pay the correct amount. So that is very clear. Then someone is saying, sir, I have appealed for extension date in show cause notice. Officer has given me 2 days, but missed by me. Can I appeal for more time? You see, the officer also has to pass the order within a certain time frame. We discussed in one slide that what are the timelines that the officer has. But if you have missed the timeline to reply to the show cause notice, you can always make an appeal and pray before the officer to give you more time to file a reply. And I think the officer, if he is not very close to the time barring date for issue of the order, he will give you the time to make a reply. While ADT 1 is issued, can I request for the general order to be issued by the commissioner notifying that my file is to be taken up for audit? No, I don't think this will be given, because if ADT 1 is given, it has been given based on certain communication from or certain order from the higher ups. So that file noting cannot be shared, I think. Beyond 6 months, are we not eligible to claim ITC credit? I'm not sure of which provision this question is asked against.
Tarun, these are specific questions.
Yeah, yeah.
We should, stick to the topic.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think now people have started asking very specific questions.
Now, Mr. Gupta, the time what was given for question and answer, I think we have already extended that time, and we have to stick to the timelines, or
Sure.
we have other official commitments as well. So I think it was a very good and enriching experience for all of us. In such a short span of time, we have been enriched with all the information on how to reply to the show cause issued by the GST formations. And all credit goes to all the presenters as well as the participants, without whom this webinar would have been success. To conclude, a sincere thanks to Shri Shravan Kumar sir and Shri Madan Mohan Singh sir for taking out time from their busy schedules to educate us on the topic and putting in effort for making this session a success. Also, we are very grateful to our ADG sir, Shri Amish Kumar Gupta sir, for his time and inputs. Thank you, sirs. Thank you. And now, on behalf of DGTS DZU, I take this opportunity to propose votes of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar on how to reply to an SCN issued by the GST department, organized by our department. Also, our sincere thanks to Shri Arun Agarwal ji for sharing his valuable experience, and special thanks to Shri Tarun Kumar Gupta for his presentation and speech that made us understand the topic so lucidly and in an easy manner that we all can appreciate. In the end, I would like to thank all the participants for their support and time in making this webinar a success. Thank you all. Thank you, sirs. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Have you closed the session?